Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Wednesday accused the Georgian government of a shameful push towards dependence on Russia. "It is truly shameful what actions they are taking against their own people," said Zelensky. And when Moscow praises these authorities in Georgia, it clearly shows for whom they are now working in Tbilisi and for whom they are dispersing the protests, he added. His comments come following 6 nights of protests in Georgia, triggered by the governing party's decision to suspend negotiations on joining the European Union. The ruling Georgian Dream retained control of parliament in the disputed October 26 election, which was widely seen as a referendum on Georgia's EU aspirations. The opposition and the pro-Western president have accused the governing party of rigging the vote with neighbouring Russia's help, something the government and Kremlin have denied, and boycotted parliament sessions. Mass opposition protests sparked by the vote gained new momentum after the governing party's decision on Thursday to put the EU accession talks on hold. During the past 6 nights, riot police used water cannons and tear gas to disperse the demonstrators, who threw fireworks at police officers and built barricades on the Georgian capital's Central Boulevard. More than 300 protesters have been detained since Thursday and over 100 people have been treated for injuries.
Це в Грузії, звичайно, не лише проблема одного народу. І не тільки нашого регіону, як сьогоднішня влада в Грузії штовхає країну на очевидну залежність від Росії. Це просто ганебно. На які речі вони йдуть зараз проти свого ж народу. І коли в Москві хвалять цю владу в Грузії, це чітко окреслює, на кого вони зараз у Тбілісі працюють і для кого розганяють протести. Точно не для Грузії. Ми готуємо нашу юридичну реакцію та працюємо з європейцями і іншими партнерами. Щодо конкретних дій. Я доручив підготувати відповідні санкційні рішення. Привітав наших воїнів з Днем ракетних військ і артилерії, вручив державні нагороди, бойові хрести, почесні відзнаки за мужність та відвагу 107-й реактивній артилерійській бригаді, Кременчуцькій бригаді, також 15-й окремій бригаді артилерійської розвідки «Чорний ліс».
The Pentagon is watching fast-moving developments in South Korea and Syria, saying there is no change to U.S. force posture on the Korean peninsula, despite intense turmoil between South Korea's president and lawmakers in parliament. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's government lifted the martial law he imposed during a tense night of political drama in which troops surrounded parliament and lawmakers voted to reject military rule. Yoon said early Wednesday that his government withdrew military personnel following a bipartisan parliamentary vote rejecting martial law, and the measure was formally lifted during a cabinet meeting around 4:30 a.m. The United States is in close contact with the ROK government to learn more, and is closely monitoring developments, said Pentagon spokesperson Major General Pat Ryder. Ryder also told reporters that U.S. forces conducted a self-defense strike Tuesday in the vicinity of mission support site Euphrates, a U.S. base in eastern Syria, against 3 truck-mounted multiple rocket launchers, AT-64 tank and mortars. Ryder said the U.S. military responded to a clear and imminent threat to U.S. troops. Ryder said the attack was not connected to the offensive that is ongoing in Aleppo, where Syrian jihadi-led rebels have advanced and taken over the country's capital city. The U.S. has about 900 troops in Syria to conduct missions to counter the Islamic State group. In another matter, Ryder provided details on the latest U.S. military aid package to Ukraine, valued at $725 million. This latest package will provide Ukraine significant additional capabilities to meet its most urgent needs, including air defense capabilities, munitions for rocket systems and artillery and anti-tank weapons, Ryder said. The United States will continue to work with our allies and partners to ensure that Ukraine has the security assistance it needs to defend itself from Russian aggression.
afternoon. Secretary Austin and the Department of Defense continue to monitor the developing situation in the Republic of South Korea. The United States is in close contact with the ROK government to learn more and is closely monitoring developments. As we have any updates to provide, we'll be sure to pass them along as appropriate. Everyone, I have a few things to pass along, and then we'll get right to your questions. First,
Any changes to U.S. force posture with the number of troops we have in?
there have been no changes, to my knowledge.
And have you seen any indications North Korea is poised or trying or willing to take advantage of the situation?
Of course, we're closely monitoring the situation, but I'm not aware of any force posture changes. Warren.
Such an honor. Just a few South Korea questions. Has General Kamara been in touch with his South Korean counterparts, or has there been other?
This morning, U.S. Central Command forces successfully destroyed several weapon systems in the vicinity of military support site Euphrates in Syria that included 3 truck-mounted multiple rocket launchers, a T-64 tank, and mortars that presented a clear and imminent threat to U.S. and coalition forces. The self-defense strike occurred after the mobile multiple rocket launchers fired rockets that landed in the vicinity of MSS Euphrates, and mortars were fired towards U.S. forces. We're still assessing who is operating these weapons, but do know that there are Iranian-backed militia groups in the area that have conducted attacks on MSS Euphrates in the past. There are also Syrian military forces that operate in the area. To be clear, these self-defense actions successfully eliminated imminent threats to U.S. personnel and were not linked to any broader activities in northwest Syria by other groups.
How does martial law impact U.S. troops in South Korea?
Well, as I mentioned, let me underscore that the U.S. mission in Syria remains unchanged as U.S. and coalition forces continue to focus on the enduring defeat of ISIS. However, we remain fully prepared to defend and protect our personnel and assets deployed in the region, to include our forces deployed to Syria.
Yes, Korea and Ukraine. South Korean President.
As you may have seen yesterday, the department announced the 71st PDA package for Ukraine. With an estimated value of $725 million, this latest package will provide Ukraine significant additional capabilities to meet its most urgent needs, including air defense capabilities, munitions for rocket systems and artillery, and anti-tank weapons. The United States will continue to work with our allies and partners to ensure that Ukraine has the security assistance it needs to defend itself from Russian aggression.
President Zelenskyy declared martial law to prevent the destruction of liberal democracy.
Russian aggression still poses a threat to Ukrainian sovereignty. The Ukrainians have demonstrated and expressed the will to continue to fight. And as Secretary Austin has said many times, Ukraine matters, not only to European security, but to U.S. and international security. So we will continue to consult with our Ukrainian partners. We'll continue to consult with our allies and partners around the world. And as you know, in terms of what Ukraine needs to defend itself. And so we will continue to support them in their fight.
I have to share with you a very short question.